Everyone, welcome. I&M Geotech Podcast, first episode full in English. So for those who don't know me, I'm André Silva, Geotechnical Engineer, host and the creator of this initiative. I&M Geotech Podcast, it's a podcast dedicated to instrumentation and monitoring. Typically in Portuguese, but we are in the fourth season and we got new challenges and we got the opportunity to do this and requests to do this in Portuguese and English and Spanish, but let's try this new alternative in English. So as usual, we need to thank to our sponsors that they make this initiative possible, Technical Engineering, Aurion, Soluções de Engenharia e PCP Engenharia. Thank you for your support. You make this possible. Always thank to TC220, which is the technical committee for the International Society of Soil Mechanics, which support us since the first season. And YouTube talk apart, let's go to our guest today. And today, to start our English journey, we bring a Spanish person. To help Portuguese guy and Spanish guy with an English podcast. So today, my guest is Javier González Martí. He's a geotechnical engineer and instrumentation and monitoring specialist with more than 25 years of experience in Spain and United Kingdom. He studied geotechnical engineering at the Universitat Politécnica de Catalunya, where he later began doctoral research within the team led by Professor Eduardo Alonso, the 2017 ranking lecturer under the direct supervision of Professor Josep Antoni Gili. This academic experience strongly influenced his understanding of geotechnical behavior and applied engineering. He also completed a 2-year MBA at ESAD, broadening his understanding of business, management, and the commercial realities of engineering. Throughout his career, Javier has worked as an engineer, project manager, consultant, commercial manager, and technical specialist across major railway, tunneling, highway, earthworks, and infrastructure projects. He currently works for Socotec UK in Ireland as a technical sales consultant and a senior monitoring specialist, while also supporting Socotec Spain when required. His approach is that monitoring should begin not with the selection of instruments, but with the engineering question, the risks involved, and the decisions the data must support. He also believes that contractual and procurement models strongly influence how monitoring is specified and valued. We'll speak about that for sure. Above all, Javier believes that successful projects depend on good human relationships, fairness, and clear communication, qualities that are fundamental to engineering but are still rarely taught properly at universities. And we finished the podcast with this. So we spoil already. So Javier, thank you very much for coming, my friend. So so let's start here. I would say, why geotechnical engineer? Why civil engineer? Where did you start? Tell us about your journey. Welcome to the podcast, first of all, and share with us a little bit of your journey, and we will talk more about this very interesting introduction. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Thanks for having me, Andre. So I didn't want to become an engineer. I wanted to be a history teacher, really.
The Spanish history is very good.
Yeah. So, but when I told my mother I wanted to study history, she told me to study something that could bring food to the table first, and then I could study other things if I wanted. Mm-hmm. And basically, that's why I took geotechnical engineering. It wasn't really a passion at the beginning. I knew I wanted to work outside of an office.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And I was good with numbers. I'm dyslexic, so I'm not really good with letters.
So you start in Spain and you start working in Spain, and then you move to UK. But how it was the start in Spain in the Spanish market, for example?
I got a scholarship while I was in uni to do research, and I actually started the surveying department doing research. That was my here in Spain. Your last year, it's a project that you need to present. Mm-hmm. So while I was doing the research, I started teaching as well at the uni.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of it, I got the opportunity to stay at the university as a teacher. But I thought I wanted to understand better how the industry worked before I became a teacher. I applied for two jobs. One was a consultancy, and the other one was a monitoring contractor.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that got to me first was the monitoring contractor. I did both interviews. And at the time, probably I wasn't overthinking things. And I just took the first offer without thinking what my future could be.
Uh-huh.
And that was it.
So, but for my understanding, so you didn't know anything about the monitoring, for example. I would say that
I
you.
knew about
Mm-hmm.
surveying and
Mm-hmm.
I knew about geotechnics.
Mm-hmm.
My first employer was Soldata.
Oh
So
yeah.
now,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Heard
now
about
known as Six Sense.
Sixth Sense. Yeah. Okay.
And it was the very beginning of the Line 9 project here in
In
Barcelona,
Barcelona. Okay.
the metro, which still under construction, by the way, after 26 years.
But you start with tunneling, excavations, infrastructure. That was your start.
I start, yeah, I started at the beginning really installing instruments.
Oh.
They hire me, I mean, very cheaply as just a body to install things and read things. But after 6 months, I started managing one of the projects.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 year later, out of the six different areas, I was managing four of them.
Okay.
And it was fantastic. It was really, really interesting.
So basically, you start with basically like a site tech, a site technician. You learn
Yeah.
how to install, and then you see, oh,
Mhm.
this guy he has what he needs for leadership. I'll say, and you start to be responsible for the teams. But
Yep.
what did you learn on that stage? Because for me, I was in the same place. Like start to work with installation, visit the sites. What did you learn that was so important in that stage of being on site and installing and understanding the details of the installations?
That's really when you learn. I mean, I think those first 3 4 years were the ones that I learned the most
Mm-hmm.
because you are doing everything by yourself. I mean, not only
Mm-hmm.
doing the installations, overviewing, but as well understanding what the client is asking from you, understanding why it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Many times, even going to the meetings and explaining the data. So it's the opportunity that you have where everything merges in one.
And in that stage, you had people that they teach you how it works, or it was like do it yourself at some points. Uh,
It was a lot of the second one, but I had in within the team we had really really strong people. I mean, Martin Beth, which now is the general manager of Six Sense,
yep.
came often. Sebastian Bragg was the
Yeah.
project director. Tony Laque was there. He was the one that offered me my first job on a napkin, on a paper napkin, uh, and he was fantastic. I mean, I keep learning so much from him. So
So it was a mixture from very good mentors with already a good understanding how it work and site experience. People that they had the site and some part of do it yourself. Like you need to because there was
Yep.
you were fluent in English already, or you were looking for documentation in Spanish, or how it was at the
no,
time.
I spoke English already. I went to a sort of an English school, so my English
It's pretty okay.
maybe wasn't as good as now. But I played role playing games. All the role playing games they were in English only, so you needed to learn English.
No, exactly. That was because the English was easy for you, so the documentation, the books, the information
Yep.
was good. But did you find any specific documentation in Spanish for instrumentation, or it was a challenge at the time? It's still a challenge to having that document type of document standards in Spanish.
Already when I started, Danny Cliff was there. I mean, on the first year, I remember looking at Danny Cliff book.
Oh, okay.
For,
So you start for the basic the stone the
yeah,
beetle.
yeah. No. I remember when installing the inclinometers and the extensometers, reading, especially when I was doing the processing of the data, looking at Danny Cliff's books in order to understand if it made sense.
Okay, but you were looking to the English versions all the time. You didn't have the documentation.
No, yeah, only in English.
I'm questioning this because in Portuguese we have the same challenge. We have very few books and documentation about instrumentation in Portuguese, and you need to you need to be fluent in English, or need to understand the pictures at least.
Yeah, and again, I was lucky because Tony Laque, I mean, he already knew a lot and had a lot of experience, so he was a great mentor. I'm lucky. I was able to learn from some of the best people in the industry.
Yeah, I always support that part. That I have mentors in the beginning of your career, specifically in this sector that we are working. I had the luck to have mentors when I started in instrumentation in Brazil, that they teach me a lot and they guide me in the beginning, and then you do your journey, right? But you were involved with this the Line 9 Barcelona, but you were involved with other type of instrumentation projects in Spain.
It was mainly tunneling, so anything that was surface and inside of the tunnel. I was involved with some of the seaport installations as well for the Barcelona seaport extension, which was interesting because it was done with the scuba divers. But my specialty was more geotechnics.
But what type
I was on a very... I'm sorry.
No, what type of instruments were you installing at that time? Inclinometers, piezometers, extensometers. What type of instrumentation you were?
So at the time, it was lots of everything was manual. Still in Spain, I think mostly is manual. So all the manual reading inclinometers with inclinometer probes, extensometers with the extensometer manual probes. There were regular magnet extensometers without any spider legs or anything. And then lots of piezometers, the rewriting wire type. The innovative part of it was that Sixens were installing the total stations at the time.
The remote ones, the automatic total station. Okay.
TC2007. So because I was good with surveying, having taught 2 years at uni. I was able to do the checks of the total stations and install them myself. So it was good. And then in the tunnel, strain gauges, the pressure cells, inside as well the type extensometers, the tape extensometers.
For those who are not familiar, we had tape. We need to hook in one side to another to do the adjustment and measure the temperature. Don't forget to measure the temperature, for God's sake.
And this tunnel was 12-meter diameter tunnel.
Oh, 12 meters. Long tape. So the easy one is the when you have side by side. When you need to hook the tape on the top, that you need to some kind of a telescopic stick.
And it was impossible that the tape extensometer will be in tension in the right one because it was so big. It wasn't the right instrument. And that's where I started understanding that sometimes there were instruments that were not the right ones to measure things. That was changed afterwards with prisms.
Just curious. In Spain, they do the same. They use those hooks for the tape exam to put the side guys. They put ropes, clothes. Everything. They do the same. Okay, so it's universal. Okay, it's not.
And the prisms. I mean, they will use the prisms to hang things and everything.
It moved 5 millimeters. There's a coat. There's a coat right there. Okay. Just to confirm that some things are universal. It's not. It's human. It's human nature. Okay.
It is.
But I think one question that I have for you, so I had a similar start. Well, everything manual. Infrastructure markets is not only in Portugal, Spain, other countries. The budget they are not so high, so you need to go manual. But I think that the manual part of it demands of you more. It's not only interest, but you need to be there to have the knowledge of the installation, the reading, and then when you go to the automation, like the total stations, like you said, it will be much easier to understand the data because you had a stage that you were working manually. You were downloading the data. You were seeing how it worked. How important is this, I would say, manual stage to evolve to the automatic, and then you go to the interpretation, for example?
No, it was, for me, it was critical, and that's why I think I became good at it, because I learned how to download the data, to put it on the Excel. You needed to have the A readings, A plus, A minus, the B plus, B minus. You needed to do the Excel to have the checksum, and you needed to play. I mean, you learn how to play with the data, so it made sense. That was the key. Data needed to make sense. It wasn't just a plug and play.
Exactly.
Now with plug and play, you miss so much of how things are processed, which probably are better processed and without so many human mistakes or alterations, maybe.
Agree.
But the people that is looking at the data doesn't really understand what is happening.
Yeah.
Not always. I guess at the end you do try to understand things, but at the time you needed to understand things in order to assess that what you were giving to the client was correct.
Exactly. That we call the gut feeling, right? That experience that you have on site. I feel like you said, the A plus, A minus, B plus, B minus, and I have situations that the guy go at site, he reversed the grooves, the wheels, and you say, okay, the data it's like reverse, it's mirrored. But if you have the experience, you just go to the columns, you adjust it. You don't see. But I've seen people. The reading is garbage. You need to go back at site. You need to pay another visit. You need to send the car. You need to send the team. No. That's the case that you can adjust, right? But it's very good. I have some people that they still make me questions about manual inclinometers. And when we look to the data, you say, show me the raw data. And people, why the raw data? I want to see the raw before it's being processed. And that's the thing, because you are on site all the time, right? I think that was your experience as well.
You do the checks on the raw data in terms of repeatability and the precision as well. I don't know. I was involved not long ago on extensometer installation that people really couldn't understand what had happened, and it came out some of the magnets fell after a couple of days, and no one noticed. So they were supposed to be every 3 meters, and they were not because they were not well supported. So, and no one checked the data, the raw data itself. So it's those things are the ones that you learn from. And I agree with you. Then when everything is automatic, it's more difficult. I think I was lucky at the time when 6 Sense started. Everything was sort of manual as well with the surveying. You needed to do a lot of manual configuration with it. So it gave you a lot of knowledge in terms of what was the meaning of the sigma in terms of the quality for the total station, the relevance of the prisms and how stable they were, the reference prisms. All that was not automatic for me. I needed to do it. So I was very lucky.
No, that part I think it's very valuable. That site experience, and what you said makes sense, because I'm feeling this when we are evolving to all this technology, and we are talking in the podcast. If you look to other podcasts in Portuguese, if you turn on the subtitles, I was discussing in the last episode. I'm start feeling a disconnection from the site to the data. There's a gap, right? It's like, it's automated, should be good. You have this automation bias going on, and it's like, and people look into the data. What is happening on this data? But because you have site experience, you see, oh, this it looks like it was hit by something. Oh, this is drifting. Oh, this is. But the part of the manual experience that you have on site, you have a physical experience. You see things. You can understand how it works mechanically, and then it makes sense electronically, and you go layers and layers and layers, and you got the data. But you feel this same disconnection between what you are, like people are skipping the steps. I'm feeling that from the new generations. What's your thought about that?
No, I entirely agree. I will say not even back in the day. You will see this as well. I mean, many of the consultants they didn't really know what the instruments were. I think that keeps happening.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
From people that do the thing that we do, so monitoring related people. Maybe some of them they focus a lot on the project management part. They don't spend enough time on site, and maybe they don't have all the concepts. But I feel that the consultancies and the tier one contractors, the big contractors that only care for the number and that nothing moves. No? I think they are the ones that are more disconnected.
They're still looking, and this brings to the question. The next question is, for those who don't follow Javier on LinkedIn, I recommend, because he writes very well, very good posts, very insightful, I would say. There's a one that I love. It is the Game of Thrones post that he wrote. It is like a comparison between the instrumentation market and the houses from Game of Thrones, and all
which I did with David.
With David, okay.
Yeah, it was his idea.
And the text that he wrote are very interesting. I always use as a reference. And one that I think one of the last that you wrote, and you have this quote, is monitoring is not a shopping list. What you think that the industry still get wrong when specifying the monitoring systems?
Yeah, so this was actually, it was going to be my PhD, which I didn't finish.
Another scholar. Let's reuse the work, right?
So, I mean, I was more senior when I started thinking on this. I was already actually in UK, and that was after I was the PM for Crossrail, for the monitoring at Crossrail, the Elizabeth line. That I really understood everything in terms. I was lucky to be working for a monitoring contractor, and then which allowed me to work very closely to the tier ones, to the contractors. And then I was lucky to be the client. So I was able to have sort of the full picture.
Different perspectives from different roles and different players. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Exactly. And that's where I saw that the client had a lot of weight on how things were being procured. If they didn't really care about using the data, just a tick boxing exercise. No, I need so many prisms. I don't care why I need them. I just need them because the designer said that we need them, and then no one is going to be looking at the data. No, then the contractor is just going to go for the cheapest option, and they just see it as a bill of quantities, not as a monitoring requirement that could improve or prevent accidents. Actually, could improve the quality of the outcome, lower the risk, which is something important, because you have when you are the client and you have to manage risk, you have pots of money that are depending on those risks. So if you can lower your risk, you can release that money, and it becomes cheaper, the project.
Exactly.
That all is not well understood by the industry. And that's why at the end you just get, this monitoring project is about installing 20% free altimeters.
But do you think that is only, for example, you are thinking that there was an experience in UK, right? But do you feel that is also an experience that you have in Spain and other countries that you have worked, the same feeling or the about the contractors and the procurement?
I think that having a knowledgeable client is very important.
Yeah.
There are knowledgeable clients. I mean, they do exist. It's not a unicorn, and there are there are knowledgeable contractors as well that know what is that they want. Tier ones, I mean, principal contractors. So there are many opportunities to do good work, working together. I think the problem comes when the client is not really knowledgeable and they see that as a necessity, and then the contractor sees monitoring as something, an expense for them, something that they don't really require, and that is just based on price. No one really cares if the data is good or not, because no one is going to be looking at it.
They're just filling the checklist, right? They're just going to the checklist. Oh, it's on my checklist. Yeah, I feel the same. Sometimes you have, I just need to do because it's on the standard. I need to fill the form. I need to have. I typically tell this is the project in Brazil. You have different sides. So mining is one thing. The legislation is very strict for instrumentation and automation. It's okay, but the infrastructure is like I can put some prisms and the total station, and I'm monitoring because the criteria is under the consultants and the contractors, and sometimes are the contractors, sometimes are the subcontractors. But I feel that same thing about you are not looking to the value that you take from the instrumentation, and you are not looking also as a specialized service. It's like it's the cheapest thing, like sand and cement and these commodity things, and you don't look as a specialized service. And I feel that people I'm just filling the checklist here, right?
I think the English were lucky because they had the Heathrow accident.
Okay.
At the end of I think it was 1970 something, and that was shocking for them. They're really good on making rules and then following them. So all that, along with the new engineering contract, they did manage to improve the standards and how things were being done, the contracts basically.
And that's a good point. So unfortunately,
and I don't think that Spain has that.
Yeah. So, and that's a very great point. So, for example, the mining industry here in Brazil evolved because of the big accidents. Unfortunately, you need to pass by these huge and accidents, and then people start to understand the value of the instrumentation. But you need to suffer the consequences of it to understand that. So in Portugal is the same. I believe that you have Eurocode 7, right? Like in Spain, but you have some guidelines for instrumentation. But I think it's very open to consultants' criteria. You decide that if the consultant is more familiar with instrumentation, maybe you have a better product, the other don't. Maybe you put some automation, maybe not. But it depends, right? Okay. But when you did your transition for UK, did you feel a big difference between Spanish market and the UK market?
Oh yeah. It was huge difference. I mean, on everything, not only how people work. The safety was another level.
I heard about from my Portuguese friends.
yeah, that was shocking for me. I've been like,
don't do that. It's dangerous. Don't do this.
Yeah, like, don't go to the cherry picker. You don't know how to drive it. No, I've been driving it for the last 10 years. Now you don't have the right permission. Do you need a permission for this? I mean, really? Or don't step on the ladder. What do you mean?
You are 1 meter high. You can
exactly.
we laugh about that. We understand the importance of disclaimer. We understand it, but I think like South Europeans, we don't have these. It's not concerning, but we see that these bureaucracies. They can,
On my first meeting with the procurement team, the client's procurement team, the guy asks. I mean, it was honestly my first week in UK, and I had this meeting. They wanted to understand where the equipment was procured, and at the time, I mean, this is like 20 years ago. We were using Encardio equipment, and the guy asked us, "Can you ensure that there is no child labor involved in the manufacturing of this equipment. And I thought he was joking. I mean, like, how do I know? I don't have a clue. It's like, yeah, no, it was never. I had never been asked that question before.
Yeah. But do you say what was more challenging, the part of the security measures, or the instrumentation itself?
No, I think the security that on the other side, they were really good. I was lucky. This project was fantastic. My client at the time from Morgan Sindel, a Scottish guy called Alistair Cruikshank, like 2 meters tall, I don't know, probably 150 kilos. He was a surveyor. He understood everything. He was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to work well. He understood the problems of the monitoring. He wanted to have good monitoring,
Mm-hmm.
and he was having his own surveyor. So it gave me a really good start to do
Amazing. Yeah.
things, really.
In the end, it's all about people, right? You need to.
It is.
I remember when we were in FMGM 2022 in London, Les, you need to have your champions, right? So if you
Yeah.
don't have your champions in all parts on the site, on the office, on data, on engineering, on consulting,
Yeah.
it's won't work. It's the small pieces on the chain of everything. You need to have
It is.
You need to have great people. It's all about people, right?
People make the difference.
Exactly. So, and your experience on UK, I believe that there will be more automation in the project that you were involved, and probably
Yeah.
more data. So, what are the challenges of handling with more automation, handling with more data? How did you work with these lot amount of data and noise? How it was the experience when you start working with all this automation and all this data coming from all sides, all sides?
Well, I had the experience from line 9 already with
Mhm.
lots of automatic monitoring total stations.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't really shocking. We installed 84 total stations in like 12 months.
84.
Yeah, it was a stressful year, but
That's a lot of
uh,
data.
but what is important about data, I mean, it's not. It's true. It was a lot of data. The amount sometimes is dangerous. You
Mhm.
want to have less is more. Is that you have someone looking at it, someone that understands what he is looking at.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have that engineer, that person looking at the data, making sense of it, it's not worth it, really.
Just a line.
Uh,
It's just a line. Line
yeah, yeah,
lines
yeah.
or plots that they mean nothing. Yeah. Okay.
So again, I was lucky because my client understood the data. He had people looking at the data as well, which were surveyors. The people assisting me on the projects understood the data, and I did as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even the designer at the time, I was lucky with because it was Arab, and they had a great team of people which were looking at the data. Everyone, honestly, shocking. First time in my career that people were actually looking at the data. I think that project was a highlight. I met so many knowledgeable people on that specific area, and then when I moved to the client side as well.
Mm-hmm. I remember reading your papers, some of your papers that really on UK
Mhm.
that you done with your team about total stations, the data,
Yep.
looking for outliers, the range,
Yep.
the precision. Tip,
Yeah, yeah.
till today, some presentations that I have, I put your name there. I give you the credits. I still today I have presentations that I have some of your pictures from your that this is the range, this is the resolution, this is the
Yeah, yeah.
outlier, this, and I still use till today those presentations, and now I understand why you have so many data from the total stations.
It was actually we had even more because that was when I became the client.
Hmm.
That is when I had the freedom to start using information
Oh, okay. So now you need
because
to get the allowance, but now you are in the other side. So that
yeah,
data now it's on my side. I can allow myself to do
exactly.
it.
Yeah. So I always wanted to show because you always got on the specifications that the maximum distance that you could use on the total stations was about 100 meters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I knew that wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to demonstrate where, I mean, that you could push further the total stations and still get good data, and which were the constraints when doing networks. And again, I was working with Six Sense at the time, people from Six Sense who had surveyors.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara Sabo was fantastic, and Dorota Simonidu as well was there. So we worked on these papers uh, just to demonstrate things. No, I think when you are the client, you have a responsibility of publishing things. Really,
Is you I am the same feeling, and I love to to have the chance to share those data. But you feel that people are not sharing as they should in terms of instrumentation and monitoring papers,
yeah.
because do you know any ideas why they are not sharing, or if
I
they don't?
think many people just don't really care or don't have the time, maybe. Uh,
That's a good point.
I, I, I was passion. I felt a passion regarding that, and I work with people that had that same feeling, I
Same
guess.
feeling. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, from Jordi Sanchez as well, another colleague of mine, and he was fantastic on making these Python spreadsheets,
Mm-hmm.
and this is 17 years ago. So he made working with data very easy.
Yeah. No, nowadays you go to ChatGPT and Codex and
Yeah,
whatever,
now
and
you
you
put
just do this for me. Oh well, that's a good point, because I remember when I did my master, I did my master was doing a MATLAB program for slope calculation, the factor of safety. Nowadays,
yeah,
I look to that all on MATLAB. I remember look to all the programming. I say, man, I probably would do this in one day.
yeah.
You know, the
I agree.
programming, okay, the writing, maybe the writing too, maybe I remember I took 6 months, and I said, man,
Yeah.
maybe the coding nowadays would be 1-2 days, but anyway, it's the challenge, and I think it's the journey too. I think nowadays we do this fast, but it's important to be, looking to the data, working on this with Python, on all the spreadsheets, and understand the steps, because you need, sometimes the spreadsheets are not correct, right? So you need to you need to
Yeah,
correct
yeah.
it. So we are talking about the procurement the few minutes ago. If you had, because you have this experience from the client point of view, the consultant, the contractor, if you could redesign these procurements that they are still done, the process, what you will do, what we could do to think to adjust the process in a way that improves the procurement of instrumentation. What do you think?
Yeah, I had to think heavy on this one. I mean,
Great questions here.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't have a good answer. I have what I feel that
No problem.
should be happening,
Mm-hmm.
which breaks the procurement system, really. But because I think the procurement should be done based on a design, no? So you want to do a project, you do a design, and on that design it will flag
Yep.
which are the questions, no?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to monitor certain things? And that is done by the consultant. They often don't know enough about the monitoring instruments in order to correctly suggest which are the right instruments or where to install them, how to
Mm-hmm.
install them.
Mm-hmm.
So the right procurement should be, they say what is that they want to monitor, the parameters that they want to monitor, and where, and they sit with a monitoring specialist to together decide what is going to be the monitoring design. Once and the outcome of that, no? Once that is done, you can do a bill of quantities out of that, no? Because you have a design that is there. It has a thought process, no?
Yep.
From the question of what do I want, what do I require,
Mm-hmm.
which units even, no? I mean, to the instrument, and then you just add on how many sensors of what do you want, and you get the BOQ, the bill of quantities. At that point, you can procure it. But then you're still missing what is always missing on the BOQs, which is the people experience. We've already said it so many times. People is key on every other project, and they are not valued on the BOQs. The BOQs are anonymous. You can put a monkey there, and he might be able to do the job.
Yeah.
I think there is not enough. We don't give enough relevance to the good engineers that there are around and the work they do.
The expertise.
And that is not shown. It's not. There is no value when you get a BOQ and you think of I'm going to put Bruno here because he is really smart. He knows this, but he's expensive. I'm going to he wants a six-figure, so so you are not going to be winning that, even if you have the best AI for the job.
Yeah.
So there is no value on engineers anymore, and that is very sad.
It's commoditized, right? You are not valuing the expert. It's interesting because I always see people. Oh, we need to value the talent. We need the new talent. You need to value. Okay, but when I think we talk about this from a perspective that Portuguese and Spanish, we still have very good schools of engineering, but typically for exportation. Typically, we don't work in our own country. I'm an example. I'm in Brazil.
It's true.
And the Italians are the same. Like, you have very good engineers, but you don't work in your countries. The North countries and Central Europe, or Canada or US, they are picking the engineers because they pay better. Right. Because the wages in the south of Europe are not so high. Like, and we don't. I have that sense that we don't feel very valuable in our own countries. And even if you are talking, so even if you go to the UK perspective and other countries, maybe they don't as well. So generally, the engineering is not the engineering expertise. Okay, and I won't say the engineers all. It's the expertise. I would say is not so valuable, and they like, oh, it's the cheapest price. It is what it is. I have my budget. I will try to cut the costs here. I try to be smart. But in the end, you are paying the cost as the same, right?
In my experience, the UK especially, they have a meritocracy. If you work hard and you try to do your best, and that brings value, usually you are able to grow.
That's good. Yep.
I haven't seen that much in Spain, for instance.
Same in Portugal. I have the same feeling here. Anyway,
I think in here, if you have a good family and can get in a good position very early, even without experience, you can keep that position and grow afterwards.
It's ironic, a Portuguese and a Spanish guys talking about history in the beginning of the podcast, and we have this heritage from the Portuguese and the Spanish monarchies that we're still feeling today in our in our society.
In my case, it's not a Spanish king. I mean, it's French.
Yeah. It's Catalonia. Okay. Let's. Sorry. I won't start to go to these parts. Okay. But this experience that you have with all automation, the new technologies, I believe you start working with INSAR as well. I always like that debate about the total stations and the INSAR and all these the working together. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I mean, I've written papers on this as well. I think INSAR was a great revelation to me as well. We brought it on the Elizabeth line. Well, it was quite new being applied on engineering projects.
You started working in INSAR on UK, right? Not in Spain. You started
while I was part of Crossrail, still,
okay,
we had this issue on the project where there was a requirement to monitor all the assets until there was less than 1 millimeter per year movement.
Oh my God.
close to the river. I mean, on clay. So,
1 millimeter.
which is, yeah, exactly, which is something that has passed on to other projects afterwards, like Lower Thames Crossing. And so when I saw this, I just didn't know what to think. So because that required us to keep surveyors on the streets, it was impossible to get 1 millimeter stability. So we thought on other things, and someone thought, brought the idea of the insert,
Hmm.
and we said, yeah, let's give it a try because we only have things to win, and it was fantastic. I mean, we were able to process back in time,
Yeah,
so we didn't even have to wait.
yeah,
We overlapped all the data, the manual and the insert. We demonstrated that they were correlative,
nice.
and we just stopped all the surveying on the streets and saved, I don't know, millions on the project because of this. So it demonstrated its value. It's really good. Insert is very powerful.
Yeah, even in cities, right? You don't have the problem
Yeah, yeah.
for the good and the bad. You don't have the problem of the vegetation, right? Like
Hmm. Yeah,
in
yeah.
remote places and in cities. I have the similar experience for a city like São Paulo. I remember I show in SAR in a. It was curious. I was in a meeting and I was showing an INSAR, and the team that worked with INSAR in our company, they sent me like a demo. Oh, they take the data from the INSAR close to a shaft that they were doing here in Sao Paulo. And I was in a meeting, oh, we take some samples, oh, where the data, oh, it's giving 20 millimeters. On that right moment, the the um, the site engineer entered that meeting and saw the data. Yo, okay, interesting. 2 months later, the guy called me. Oh, I was looking to the manual data and it matched. Yo, oh, fantastic. And then they start talking about INSAR, and in the end, they apply INSAR in Metro Sao Paulo. And that was the
Yeah.
experience because they were not familiar. Like, I think
Mhm.
it's very weird to people. Like, you have a satellite hundreds of kilometers away, and it's giving you these crazy precisions. But for these areas that you need to have people on site with interference with cars, with the weather and
Mhm.
all the human error, to have 1 millimeter variation,
Yeah,
like
it's incredible. Yeah, yeah.
it's very
And
challenging.
it's all about the right balance between automatic, manual, and what is that you need at every moment, really.
Hmm.
Manual monitoring is great because it gives you a lot of flexibility. It's just expensive and you need boots on the ground.
Yeah. Hmm.
So if you don't need that much flexibility, just go for something that is automatic. More, yep.
And nowadays inside is everywhere, right? So I think
Hmm.
it was in the beginning when you start. I ask you that question because you also in the beginning I was seeing people. Oh, it's replacing total stations. It's replacing these methods. I'm seeing as a compliment, right? So
Exactly. That is monitoring. Is complementing one things with others.
yeah,
Because
redundancy. Yeah,
exactly. Otherwise, you only have one truth, which can be wrong. So
exactly.
if you have a couple, then you have that redundancy, and you can make sense out of it.
And I believe you had the similar experience of using INSAR to validate the reference points. So probably
Yep.
you had experience that reference points that you were using that they were actually moving, and the INSAR you was showing, and you can validate the other data. It happened to you?
Yep. And this is actually one of the other papers I did was on the how the total station networks, the reference prisms, they all move all the
Mm-hmm.
time, and sometimes are it's not the prism that is moving with the isolation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the references that are. So, yep, the GNSS is a very good example as well now,
Yeah, we have the GNSS technology now, which is very
and
good.
it's very powerful as well. I mean, it's working very well and it's very precise.
Yeah. So
So,
for those who are not familiar, GNSS, you have these small devices that you can put right on the position that you want, and give you the X, Y, and Z with these like very high precision coordinates that
mhm,
you can put on, and you can automate the monitoring of that point. So, and you
yep,
can complement with the total stations, with INSAR. I'm seeing a lot on the mining industry right here. I'm seeing a lot of people going to the GNSS, for example.
we have a dam project where this is. I mean, that's the plan is to combine manual monitoring, GNSS, and insert data.
That's very good. That's
So
very interesting. Very interesting. I'm curious to see the paper soon about these comparisons. just,
let's see.
just to have time to write this. So, and we are talking about the future already. So, I believe we are in the last 10, 15 minutes of the podcast. I told you, man. It's like time
quick.
flies.
That's because we're old man already.
So, how do you see the future? All these, we already talked the big data. We start with the manual. We talk about automation. We start the big data, the noise, the signal, everything. But now we have this AI thing that I'm seeing that is flooding all the industries. How do you envision? How do you see the adoption of AI on the geotechnical instrumentation?
I'm using it more and more. I mean, I didn't thought I was going to, but I am. And I actually see it as a good complement.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is you still need to have the knowledge because it makes so many mistakes.
Yeah.
Mistakes that don't look like mistakes. I mean, because he's very assertive on what he says.
That's the challenge. They can mask very well some mistakes
Yeah.
that if you don't have really experience, they could go through. I think that's
Yeah.
So that's
So again, it's about the engineers that humans we are so creative and we can think on so many different ways and out of the box, and that's why and what is more important, we can have relations with others. That's not replicated by artificial intelligence.
yeah.
So I see artificial intelligence as a tool to enhance what is that we do best, which is create and innovate and think outside of the box and just use the AI to create trends, patterns, or examine big bunch of data and so on. But yeah, I think that's the way forward.
You see as an amplifier of the good. I think could be an amplifier as good things and the bad things. It's still the same, like garbage in, garbage out. That my point of view of this is we have two black boxes. Like you have in the past and nowadays we have the geotechnical modeling, when you do all this modeling with the Plaxis and all these rock science tools that you have. I'm not sponsored by the brands, by the way. I'm just dropping names. But you have all these colors and modeling, and you'll see, my model is giving me 10 millimeters of displacement, and then your inclinometer is showing 20 millimeters. I believe that this is one black box, right? Because it gives you, but it's the nature. Why your modeling is doing like that? And AI, it's the second black box, but because you put the things there, and you can amplify the garbage that you are putting or the good things that you are putting. And that's my afraid, because in the past we had, but your modeling is not correct, and now it's the modeling. And then that interpretation is all AI, and you say,
I see your point.
You see, but I believe that did you face this? But my modeling, my triggers are 10 millimeters. 20.
All the time.
Did you have these discussions in meetings all the
time?
All
the time. Yeah.
Your inclinometer is not working. Your instrumentation is garbage.
It's wrong.
Why did I pay all this money for this? It's not working.
Yeah. If you work in the monitoring industry as a monitoring contractor, that day will come one day to you, and then all the time afterwards. But that's why you need to understand what is that you are doing. If you understand the instrument, how it's installed, the data that is coming out, it's very easy to explain things. Even if the thing that you need to explain is, now you're right, it's not working fine. So that is important. I see the AI more like a smart trainee that can help you to gather information and put it in the right way. But then you need to revise everything again.
That's a good point. Sometimes I did some tricks with AI that I put some. Describe me this instrument. I remember I did this same question 2 years ago about certain instruments. Describe me this instrument. in the beginning of ChatGPT become using this universal tool and the others. And I remember it was describing inclinometers as piezometers. It's clearly wrong. And then I went all the stages, and it keeps the same question to see the pattern. And like you just said, they are very persuasive. So sometimes they are very, I would say 90% they are very accurate, but sometimes on the details, they are picking information from, I would say, for example, I don't know, they put the sources now, but sometimes they pick the specs from another inclinometer, another piezometer, and they mix some of the specs. And if you don't have the experience, so no, this is on the detail, this is wrong. And what I'm seeing in people copying and pasting and put these LinkedIn posts and do these pictures that ChatGPT is very good to do this, summarize. And when I'm looking to the details, if you have the experience, this is not perfectly correct, right? So, like you said, you still still need to do the final review, and still the review is challenging. I don't know if your recent papers that you have wrote, did you feel that you are getting less and less comments, observations to correct your papers? Did you have?
I don't think I've ever gotten any suggestion to correct anything.
Really?
Because I don't think that many people read them.
No, I'm doing this question. I'm repeating this question to validate maybe I'm validating my bias. I'm feeling that the here or internationally, I'm getting less. It's not because I'm becoming very good. I know I'm not. It's still it's still a learning curve. It's I'm feeling that I'm getting less and less observation from my papers. And I'm not sure if people are reading the papers or AI is reading the papers, or I don't know. I'm just sending these questions to people to understand what are their perception, But my perception, the last 2 years, I would say, the last 4 papers that I got, if I got 1 observation, 2 observations, it's the most, and they'll say, and sometimes I know that because sometimes I submit the papers because I didn't have enough time to, revise everything. Okay, but I think it's 90%, let's do it. But I know that in some parts I could be more accurate, I can adjust this, and there's no comment. Something, I don't know, it's just maybe it's me.
I do think that there are less and less geotechnical engineers with every passing year, to be honest. So that might be related as well.
That's also a good theory. I don't know how it is in Spain. For example, in Portugal, we have less and less civil engineers for the last, I would say, 10 to 15 years. The number of positions of civil engineering on the universities is getting lower and lower. For civil engineers, the informatic and the other guys, it's different. But for civil engineers, less and less. In Brazil, is following the same pattern. And the amount of engineers that we are talking, we need to do the high speed here, the ports, the airports, and all these projects, and we don't have enough engineers. And it's a funnel. Civil engineers, you have the different specialties. If you have less civil engineers, you have less geotechnical. So I understand what you are saying, because I'm feeling the same in other countries.
There is very little generational handover as well. I see that lots of people from our age, but then there is no one to pass on this knowledge.
True. I have that feeling too. So I graduated in 2010, and I got right middle of the crisis for Portugal and Spain. 2008 hit hard in Spain. In Portugal, it was a mess. So basically, there was no jobs, mainly for civil engineers, and we went abroad, most likely. And the next generation, it was the most affected. But why I'm going to graduate in civil engineering if there's no job? So I believe that right after the generation that was born, I would say 80. I'm from 87. You probably early 80s
or 70s.
Or 70s. 70s. So that generation, you have the 40s, the 40 something right now, and the next one they are not going for civil engineering anymore. And civil engineering, I was talking about that. Civil engineering not so seductive. You need to go at site. You need to go to the mud. You need to go. You need to travel a lot. You cannot stay with your family. You have the remote and all this stuff, and it's more interesting. But for starting your career, you really need to be on site. So in the new generations, they have different mindsets. So maybe that is and the other side, you are not paying so well. You have and civil engineers, in the end, you can do civil engineer, or you can go to finance, which is much more attractive, right?
What I've noticed though is that the technicians, they've improved a lot in terms of how knowledgeable they are.
Nice. Yeah.
So they are people that have a different mindset. Maybe they didn't study engineering, but they did, I don't know, electronics or other things. And I mean, they understood that they need to go and work outside because they were not engineers. And they've learned so many other things on the way, including techniques. But they have all this other background on electronics and digitalization, and they can do programs, and so they become very, very competent technicians, which then want to become project managers.
And these skills you are not finding a lot, because you have the civil engineer graduations, and you have the technical schools. For example, in Portugal and in Brazil, they you don't value so much these technical schools, these skills of carpenters and all these teams, masons and all these, which is very expensive in our countries. If you try to do something carpenter to your house nowadays, the guys is taking more money than an engineer, which is valuable, right? But that's a good point. The site technician, I'm feeling the same. I'm feeling the site technicians, they see an opportunity and they have market for that. So let's go. And that is a very valuable skill. In terms of the future, we are talking about the new generations, and how do you see the future? And how do you see, for example, you have kids, right? Me too. So if they, father, I'm going to be a civil engineer. So my wife is an attorney and a lawyer, and I'm a civil engineer. And so my wife is, if they will become engineers, for God's sake, attorneys as not. So, but imagine that for the new generation, what do you think if they are what the skills that will matter in the future? And for example, I'm not sure if in the university, did you have classes about instrumentation, for example? I'm still feeling that universities, they don't talk about instrumentation as they should. But what do you see in terms of skills in universities?
We did have some classes about monitoring in terms of what's up isometer and so on. I've been part of those classes as a teacher afterwards. As Josep Raventos, for instance, we do collaborate with the university, so that has improved. I think my kids, I would love if they improve their attention to detail and attention span, probably, and thinking outside of the box, those human relations. I still think AI is not going to be able to match that, and it's so important to be able to work with others. Not only work with them, but to make that they are able to work with them, which honestly, I don't think I'm a great engineer. I'm probably average, and I might have some knowledge because I'm old already. What I've done right, I think, in my life is I was good with people. I had that skill for whatever reason. I didn't work on it. I mean, it just came naturally, I guess. And that allowed me to make great teams. I always look for better people than me on those teams, people that had more knowledge, different knowledge maybe. And I was good on making them work together, and that's why we deliver great projects. So I think that is important.
So soft skills, very important, and surrounded by good people. By good people, experienced good people. The people could be good people, expert people. I think
I think both things are important.
Okay.
People that are good
Good.
and people
For
that
the
have knowledge.
because it's
Because
still a
if
team.
you're surrounded by bastards, probably they are going to stop you at some point.
For sure. I'll absolutely agree. I've been in that situation that there are people that they are very, very expert, but they are very difficult to handle. They
Yeah.
become, I'm the expert here, I'm cocky, I'm here,
But
and blah, blah, blah. But in general, that people, still good people, right?
yeah, I've had that discussion with a common friend of ours, with Bruno, many times. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there is a lot of bad people and people that want to stab you, because that requires a lot of intelligence and spending time. And people are just not interested. They are not bothered. So it's usually based on incompetence,
Making
not because they
shots,
want.
making shots to the
Yeah.
line.
So no, yeah, I would recommend them to gain people skills and to think out of the box, and yeah,
Yeah,
be
so
passionate about something. I think that is important.
passion. Basically, I think we talk passionate people about two, three times in this podcast right now, and I think like you also. Oh, to make papers, you need to be passionate. You have to passionate
Yeah,
people that they are interested to do that. In the end, is
yeah,
find your champions, find your passion people, find people that they are
yes,
really interested in seeing the value of the instrumentation, and be surrounded of that people and move on.
yeah.
So I think
I I feel lucky that I've had that opportunity. I don't know, even I'm on my previous jobs, yeah, with Andrew Whitley, I met Alan Marr. I've been able to meet Danny Cliff.
yeah.
Uh, I met Borland as well, and Standing. It's like all your heroes. Meet your heroes.
Yeah, you had the privilege. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't have
no,
the
no,
time to meet Duncliffe. I would like to. Alan Murray, yes, but Duncliffe, I had no time. Yeah, I think the conference that they had, it was he passed away during COVID, right? I think I even remember, man. I wrote. I never published that. But when he passed away, it was like our hero for those that work in instrumentation. I wrote. I don't know if it was a letter to thank him. I never released that letter,
yeah,
and it was funny
that's
because I didn't release that letter because I was seeing that other people was releasing the letters on posts thanking to Duncliffe about that. You think,
yeah,
oh, maybe I lost my. Maybe it will be I don't know the right word in English. But so maybe it's too much because all my contacts and on LinkedIn they were doing the same because they were passionate about that,
yeah.
and it was a interesting point of view when he passed away and the recognition he took, and he has the books and and all the legacy. I would say it's in us. So I believe we are in our time. How much? Quanto tempo? Okay, so 1 hour and 7 minutes, my friend. So we are
Already.
we are done here. So really thank you for the opportunity and the conversation. I think it was very insightful, amazing, great. Any final remarks from your side before we go to the sponsors?
Not really. I mean, we've said it over the conversation. What is important is really people, and people that are passionate about geotechnics and doing things right,
Yeah, amazing. Yep.
and passing that knowledge. That's important, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So thanks everyone for your time. We are ending here. So ring the bell. So if you want to follow I hope you like the first experience in English here from the Portuguese and the Spanish guy.
Spanish.
So I believe you feel our accent.
I have a Scottish accent. I don't know what you're talking about.
So thank to the sponsors, Technical Engineering, PCP Engenharia e Aureon Soluções de Engenharia. Thank you for the sponsors that make this possible. Follow the channel if you want. I hope to have more content in English soon, and see you the next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.